Hello everyone, this is Dominika, and today I am coming to you with another fantastic guest for the podcast, the Career and Lifestyle podcast. She is an expat consultant, mindfulness practitioner, expat wife, and world traveler, and founder of a mindful journey to freedom. Hello, Angelic. I am really happy and excited to have you here and explore more about what is mindfulness and how to apply it in our international life. So please tell us more about you and how your journey started, your international journey started.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Dominika, for having me here. I'm really excited to have this conversation. And I'm Angelic Ingram, as you said, the founder of A Mindful Journey to Freedom, and I help people who relocate for whether it's work or marriage, and I help guide them through the emotional challenges that we can sometimes face during our relocation and after relocation. My expat journey started really back in, okay, I'm going to say 1988. I first moved to Germany. It's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was 18 years old. Okay, so I'm dating myself, but I moved to Germany and I was there for around 4 months, 5 months. And that's when I really got a taste of travel and what it feels like to experience different cultures. And I just got that bug in me and I love to travel more and see more of the world. There was a long span then of just not traveling. And when I met my husband, who's British, of course, we needed to move over to England and for a business opportunity that he had. And this was in 2008. So we moved over to England then. And we've just been traveling together around Europe and other continents in the world. And that's really when my true expat journey started.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So what was your biggest challenge when you moved abroad? Because you moved from California to the UK, so it's a
Yes.
completely different, let's say a completely different culture and completely different environment.
It
What
is, yeah.
was your biggest challenge?
For me, like you said, moving from California to the countryside of England, it was really difficult for me. I had my own business in California. I'm a holistic health practitioner by trade. So I had a small business, which I had to leave behind, say goodbye to my clients, of course, family and friends and everyone. And moving to England after a while, it was really hard for me. And I guess the biggest challenge for me was loneliness because my husband was working all day long, Monday through Friday, and even sometimes on the weekends. And he'd be gone because he'd commute to the city in London and he'd be gone from 6 a.m. to sometimes 8 p.m. So I had a lot of time on my hands. I wasn't working because we decided not to get my work visa because we weren't sure how long we would be staying in England, and it can be a costly and very timely procedure anyway. So we decided, not to obtain that for myself. So I had a lot of time on my hands, and it was really hard. Didn't have any friends, and living in a small town, social circles, social things were different then, and I didn't know about like things like Meetup or internations or organizations like that would, expat communities, bring them together. So yeah, I really struggled with the loneliness and really just spending more time with my thoughts, and that kind of really brought things into my mentality, and I started to feel things like resentment, guilt for leaving my family and work behind, and really feeling like I had no purpose. Yeah. So yeah, it was really difficult. But then, I I woke up one day and I said, okay, this is not good, because my relationship started to struggle. Our communication, started to break down, because I was just going through all these different emotional thoughts that were just
Mm-hmm.
really bringing me down. And so I woke up one morning and I said, right, I need some guidance. And that's when I learned about life coaching, because I started to research and seek that guidance. And I found someone who, oddly enough, was in San Diego, where
Mm-hmm.
we had moved from. And she was a life coach. I'm like, what is this life coach? And so I called her and we connected immediately. I started working with her, and my confidence started to build up more about being in this new place, right? And this new community. And so I got out and I started volunteering. I started volunteering with an organization called Headway, and we support people who had suffered brain injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And that really brought me out into the community. I started building relationships, making friends. I had a purpose. I was getting up every morning and helping. And that's what I love to do. I just love helping others, however that is, whether it's, through what I do now is mindfulness, or just I did massage for cancer patients at one time in my life. I just love giving back to the community. So that really, really helped me
Yeah.
engage more into the community and acclimate more into getting out and being, more
Mm-hmm.
social, and just really building my joy again and finding more happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good. It's very good that you started to take actions, that you like wake up one morning and you decided that you don't want to be in this situation, like listening to your emotional negative thoughts, that you started to take actions, ask for help, and then engage with the community. So this is a great example how to overcome challenges, overcome loneliness, and start like taking care also of yourself, of your well-being. So you started to work as a mindfulness practitioner for expats. So could you please, I am sure that like most of our listeners, they know what mindfulness is, but sometimes we can have different perspective, different definitions. So if you can explain us like what is mindfulness exactly?
I love this that you've asked this question, because there are so many misconceptions about mindfulness. And I, for one, honestly, growing up, I thought mindfulness was like one of those woo woo kind of, oh my gosh, okay, what are these people doing? It's like, how can they always be like positive and optimistic? And, they're sitting in meditation, and so, yeah, I mean, it a lot of people don't understand what mindfulness is. And thanks for asking this question. Mindfulness is really a state of mind. It's not a religion. It doesn't follow any kind of particular dogma. It's really just about wanting to invite more happiness and joy into your life. And it really entails a lot of self-awareness. And that's really what mindfulness is. It's paying more attention to how you feel, emotionally, physically, how you think. Are you thinking more negatively? Are you learning how to think more positively? How do you see and view the outside world, and pay attention to the messages that your body is trying to give you, and really just cultivating more peace into for yourself, into your life. So that's really what mindfulness is. And it is, there's so many different practices that you can do. And most people are already practicing mindfulness and they just don't know it. Spending time with your children or family, that brings you joy. And that is part of mindfulness. Walking on the beach with your dog, spending time out in nature, zoning out sometimes when you're in your car and your thoughts just kind of go away and you're just kind of zoning out. That's mindfulness. That's a form of meditation, really. And So people are already practicing this and not knowing what it is, but doing more of that is really what mindfulness, my mindfulness practice is. And as a mindfulness practitioner, that's what I help assist people to cultivate more of in their lives. So that's the beauty of mindfulness. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, for example, for international people, for expats, how we can apply. You shared examples, but for example, if someone is feeling like loneliness or feeling guilty, as you said, or there is a lot of noise in your head when you are moving abroad, for example, because of your partner work, and you don't know exactly how to adapt your career, or you are taking care of your family and you don't have the time to take care of yourself. So how to like apply, how to be a mindful expat, let's say.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, the mindful expat wife is what I call
Yeah,
myself.
exactly. Mindful expat wife.
Yes. There are so many ways. And for instance, like the loneliness. Like I did, I can go out and you can go out and give back to the community. Find what brings you joy, whatever that is. Just sit back and you can write it out. Journaling is a great way to express yourself. If you can't really communicate that to your partner, start writing it down, start writing in the journal, and that would really help cultivate more confidence so that you can communicate better with your partner or your family. And really just finding those things that bring you joy and using that to help you settle in your mind and bring those thoughts down. Now, when you start, and like for me, when I first moved out to England, it was really hard to let go of the guilt
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So really just spending more time with, okay, acceptance. Acceptance is part of mindfulness, accepting what we can't control, right? And accepting the choices that we make in life. I chose to move and support my husband in his career path. That was my choice. And I did that out of love and good intention and for our relationship. And if you can step back and think of, okay, why did I make this choice? All for the great reasons. And that doesn't mean that we have to negate or let go of the things that we love that we've left behind. It's just accepting the fact that we can still be there in so many different ways. And if we need to physically be there, we can do that. But it's really accepting the choices that we make. And so it takes a lot of practice to sit back and really think about, okay, why am I feeling this way? And how can I find the joy and the acceptance around making this choice? So it's really important that you journal. Like I said, you can do that. Meditation really helps, or prayer, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Really sitting with those thoughts and knowing why, and really just expressing yourself, feeling them in your body as well. So it takes a lot of courage to do that, and a lot of bravery. And sometimes we get stuck, and like for myself, I really got stuck for a long time in this thought pattern and this mindset that just spiraled down and was really affecting me mentally, So, yeah. So those are some things that you can do to help with the loneliness and the guilt and all these emotional feelings that we have sometimes after relocation.
Yeah. Also, I think like also about this all the stress that you have when you are moving abroad. It can be a stress like also like because you are starting maybe a new job, so you don't know how to behave in a new environment, in a new culture. So, or there is like a lot on your list to do when you are moving, for example, with kids.
Right.
But like, do you think like with mindfulness, do you think it's good to develop a daily practice, like a daily routine, or it can be something that you can do, for example, once per week, or when you feel when you feel like the need that there is something that's like a challenge for you? What is your...
I always encourage to have a daily routine of some sort. And it doesn't have to be a big, ritual thing. It could be just simply, if you need to, waking up half an hour earlier than if you have family or whatnot. I get up early and I'll have a cup of tea. I'll write a little bit of journaling. I like to write just a short list of things that I'm grateful for, and I do this at night as well. And just doing simply that action of saying, I'm so grateful that, I have my home and um, or my partner who's so supportive and understanding. And doing that really helps shift your mindset to, wow, I have these great things in my life, counting your blessings. So I do encourage to start, with a small kind of ritual. You don't, I do meditate in the morning, but you don't have to, it depends on the person really and what works for them. But taking a walk in the morning or in the evening after dinner, I mean, that's a mindfulness practice. So I really encourage a daily routine of some sort, whether it's in the morning or in the afternoon or at night, whenever you're capable of, just to have a few things to do, to just pay attention to yourself, and take the time to be more aware of where you are, what are your surroundings, how are you feeling, and what might you need to do to make the shifts that you need to change.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to like take a long time. It can be, it can be something like a 5 minutes per day, and it can impact your international experience.
Right.
Your
Right.
your expat.
Yeah, exactly. Because we travel quite a bit, my husband and I, and sometimes I get an imbalance, and when you're moving from one place to another, it's difficult, and it's okay. I'm okay with getting out of touch for a while and just focusing on the moves and, getting things done. But I know that it's always there. And when I know when it's time to reconnect with myself, I'll start to feel it. I'll start to feel some anxiety, or, my body starts to react. I start to feel weak, or really just tired. Okay, I need to step back. I need to just write some things down, have a cup of tea or take a walk and just reconnect with myself and how I'm feeling and what I need to do again in terms of finding that balance again.
Yeah, so it's important like to listen to your body, and like listen to your
Absolutely.
to those signs that we get very often.
Yes.
From our body. So do you think like there is a connection, or how can we apply mindfulness like in developing a global mindset, like being more open to this change, international change? Because often we travel, or often when we move, we don't know exactly what is the culture, or what are the rules. So we have to be open and open-minded. And also, can mindfulness help with that, like how to adapt to a new environment?
Absolutely. Just like you said, we need to lose the expectations, lose what we think a life is going to be like in our new community, because it's going to be very different. And when we have these expectations of what things should be like, we're really setting ourselves up for some disappointment, and that goes for anything in anybody's life. You don't even have to be an expat. It really, having expectations is such a, it can be very self-sabotaging, and causes so much unnecessary stress. So yeah, having an open heart going into this move. You made a choice to relocate, do your homework, find out what are the cultural differences. How is society working? How do their social circles work? How do you behave, or what are their relations in the business? How do they do business? Do your homework, do the due diligence, and go in with an open heart and no expectations. Go with the flow, as they say. And mindfulness can be very, very impactful, to just, like I said, taking the acceptance of what is, being able to find the patience, cultivating the patience around moving and relocating, because it can get very stressful. So just knowing that everything is happening for for reasons, that we might not, know at the time. That's really hard to say. People like, okay, everything happens for a reason, really. Well, yeah, it does. And we might not know what that reason is, but it's a challenge for us to just cultivate more patience and really just take one step at a time. So mindfulness can be so impactful in that, in terms of relocating, because if you can accept and cultivate the patience and be more aware of how you're feeling, expressing yourself, communicating, and really just, finding those little bits of joy that are in there that you're just not focusing on at the time. Um, you know, Pay attention to it. So yes, mindfulness can be very impactful for people who are relocating.
Beautiful, beautiful, Angelique. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing sharing all the tips about mindfulness. I have to say that I feel relaxed after this interview.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Me
like
too.
like listening, yeah, like asking questions and yeah, listening to your answers. Yeah, so I was just imagining myself doing mindfulness activities. So yeah, it helped me right now during this interview.
Good,
Yeah, so
good.
imagine how can help you, like doing it on daily basis just for 5 minutes.
Right.
So like how people, if they want to connect with you and they want to discover more about you, where they can find you, and also like what are your projects what are your projects for the future?
Yes. I don't have any events coming up per se, but I am working on a few things. I do have an ebook that it's in the middle of a revision at this moment, but it is called What You Need to Know About Moving Abroad, and it's how you can use mindfulness to overcome the emotional challenges of relocation. And that's on Amazon. It's a Kindle version. And I am also working on my first nonfiction um, memoir, really, of how I got into mindfulness, what brought me into mindfulness. And there's a long story there, and I'm really excited to get this book out. So, yes, so that'll be coming out hopefully next year sometime. But people can find me on my website, mindfuljourneytofreedom.com. I'm also on LinkedIn as Angelic Ingram is my full name there. And you can also get me on Instagram at Mindful Journeys, and that's plural. So I would encourage people to connect with me, come and see what we do at A Mindful Journey to Freedom, and let's connect. I'm always happy to connect with people and, just share experiences, share our travels and our experiences, our wins. And thank you so much, Dominica, for having me on today. It was really nice to chat with you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was my pleasure. So thank you very much once again. I will put the link to your website with the show notes so people can go and explore and learn more. Please tell us, what are your thoughts? What are your questions? What is your experience with mindfulness? And how are you going to apply it in your daily expat and international life? Share in the comments. And I will be back soon with another fantastic episode. Thank you very much for listening or watching. And thank you once again, Angelic, for being with us today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.